Today, we are going to be talking about how generative AI is reshaping governance and strategy at the board level. And of course, this week, Meta announced $100 million hiring bonuses to OpenAI employees. Pretty lucky if you're one of those, but for the rest of us, we just carry on doing what we're doing. But of course, it's an indication that competition for AI talent has reached a fever pitch as superstar AI researchers are now courted now like professional basketball players. Amina Crooks is the senior manager of customer data at AI at Accenture Song, and joins me today to talk about her new workshop on how to navigate the rapidly evolving landscape of AI for strategic advantage, risk oversight, and innovative leadership, all without needing a technical background. Hi, Amina.
Hi, how are you?
So I'm very well, thank you. So are you seriously telling me that I don't have to have a technical background at all to navigate the AI landscape?
No, you don't. And the reason is because what you really need from leaders is to understand three things. You need to understand the capability, what different types of AI can do, because that's your role to understand where the value lies. And what's the strategy and the use of that, and whether there is a use for it within your organization. After you understand where the value lies, you need to understand what it takes to get that value. So, any big thing that you would purchase in life, whether it's a holiday or a house, you understand what it is you need and whether it's valuable. And then you understand the components of it. Where are the risks? What are the people? What are the processes? Do you build? Do you buy? What are your options? And then, thirdly, you need to understand what you're getting yourself into so that you can do it well. So, you need to learn from other lessons of what success happens where failures are, so that you can avoid any complex thing that you're doing, whether with technology, what's involved in that. So to some extent, understanding a bit about the capability is the technical aspect, but you definitely don't need to know how to get into the grunt of it, of how to build it yourself to understand and answer those questions.
Well, that is good to know. And of course, to people such as yourself, AI isn't new. It's been around a long time, but it's suddenly become really, really hot. Why is that the case?
It's because of Gen AI and a new form of AI which generates new insights given the data that it's given. So, AI fundamentally is about recognizing patterns and learning from those patterns. And generative AI can do that really well to generate new concepts, whether it's text, image, it's multimodal. And what's really changed from when that first hit the market is the application. Businesses have learned, aside from these tools that consumers use to write a fancier sounding email or to help you do a bit of research, businesses have understood how to apply it to transform their organizations through process reengineering. And that is a very powerful thing because it literally allows you, where the application is appropriate, to remove repetitive, mundane tasks with the capability that can not only do that task, that can reason and that can act on it. And that ability to kind of do that, which takes automation to another level, in removing some of these sort of mundane, repetitive tasks that humans tend to make errors about and don't actually really enjoy doing.
Yes, yes. I wonder if AI can ever do the ironing. But Jay Sari has said that there are a lot of layers to building and using AI systems. We need to know the layer that we are operating at. And I think that's a really interesting comment, because there's people who can't get their head around AI, probably like my mother. And there's a lot of people suffering from FOMO, fear of missing out, of course. Probably not like my mother. But what are the fundamentals that people do need to get their head around in order to really utilize AI effectively?
I think that it comes down to where is it appropriate to use the tools and the technology, and depending on the type of AI. So I guess at a very simplistic level, AI is where machines can be used to do things that humans do really well, whether it's image recognition or it's speech analytics, or whether it's generating an image, such as what Gen AI can do. It can generate content and imagery. Um, And I think learning how to apply that in the right context will help augment and improve your life. So it's like any technology that you have, when you understand the application of it, then it adds value and it makes things better. Where it's put in the wrong place, it actually creates work, makes things worse, doesn't help employees, and actually can fail and actually lead to a lot of lost revenue and investment. So I think what's really important is understanding the different types of applications, and how you can use it in your life. And I think people that are curious and experimenting with the different tools and things out there are already starting to do that, whether it's like individual consumers or small businesses or large enterprises. It's often about letting people play with tools and understand how it helps improve what they do. And then they go and use them more often. Whereas if they use it and it doesn't add value, they'll stop using it.
We're all back in the sandpit again, really, aren't we? Learning to use those tools, which is fascinating. You talked about instances where the application of AI can fail because it hasn't, it's been applied in the wrong way, or to try and solve a problem that it probably shouldn't try and solve. But is there a risk AI, like some of the other texts that we've had along the way, can fail as a concept, or is that actually not possible to happen?
So AI, as you mentioned, is not a new concept, and it's been used for many decades now and is proving to be quite useful. So examples are recommendation systems like Netflix and algorithms that we have in a lot of the products that we use. So AI has proved to, if you were to answer that point, is it's not going away because it's already been used for decades and it's proving to be very useful in many things that we do. Generative AI, I think we're seeing that this is if you look at previous technologies that are introduced and the curve and the transition that they go through, where early on it's still figuring things out, it's still nascent. We are just in the very early stages of where this is going. And if you look at other ways of thinking about this, it's broader than just the consumer tools. We're moving into an agentic AI stage where you have orchestrations and huddles of agents that work collectively together to do a whole bunch of tasks. We're already seeing organizations that have human plus digital agents working together. So Accenture has human resources, finance, marketing, sales business units that are human plus AI, because we've transformed ourselves. And you're seeing also, if you go even broader and more into emerging space economy, where you're gathering more data and insights across the globe to gather more insights for AI, for agriculture and other sources. So it's only growing, I would say, in terms of an ecosystem and a market.
Which is interesting because I think it was last week we saw unions move to protect its workers from the impact of AI. And of course, there was the outcry on social media over Hungry Jacks replacing teenagers with AI bots at the drive-through. And we know AI does raise concerns about job displacement, biased algorithms, privacy violations, and potential misuse in weapons, for example, or social manipulation. Are we right in trying to be cautious to protect ourselves against I suppose, some of the applications of AI, or again, is that simply not going to work and it's really beyond government regulation or beyond government control?
It shouldn't be beyond government. Government should continue to play the role that it needs to play. I guess there's a lot of debate as to how do you manage that important role that government plays to ensure that we develop technology in a safe way for society that's going to do good, and that humans are, our values are protected and managed. And I think the challenge, as you can see with the Industrial Revolution, as we're heading into this one, is that with every technology, it's happening quicker and faster, and it's making it more difficult for government and regulators to keep a pace of the change that is happening as it sort of not only occurs in terms of the technology, but disseminates within the consumer world so quickly before they can get on top of it. But 100%, we need to put those guardrails and those things in place because those are real issues. Now, that's not to say that there won't be a massive explosion of other jobs as well, though. And with all of new technologies, that always happens. I think that probably isn't spoken of enough in terms of all of the roles and jobs that we'll need to happen to be, but there'll be different skill sets and different types of jobs.
You and your colleagues at Accenture Song have partnered with WOB to run a workshop. Thank you. Can you briefly outline what it will cover?
So what we'd really love to share with leaders and board members are the fundamentals around AI, so that to the discussion points we've had, that they're comfortable in talking about what are those capabilities, how to transform organizations, and what organizations are doing at the moment in terms of cutting edge in using these tools and technologies, and what are the risks and the aspects around responsible AI. And to also share some of the latest use cases, so that they understand globally how organizations are using different types of AI, including agentic AI, to transform their organizations.
A month is a long time in AI. And so, how often will the slide deck need to be updated between now and the 28th of July when there's the first workshop, Amina?
I think, like, having been on this journey from sort of when Gen AI first exploded, things moved really quickly. And it's not to say they aren't still happening in terms of new technologies, like moving from APIs to NCPs to kind of transfer knowledge and get things working in the agentic space. So there's always nuances happening. But I think at this level, what will change is maybe the case studies. And I think we are at a point now where a lot of that immediate change was around trying to understand how to use the technology and apply it in a business context. And I think businesses now are in like many years of grunt work to actually transform it. So think of it as like when everything, like you had digital and it was like, oh, we've got these cool aspects of email and websites. Now, how do businesses use things more than an email and a website to transform their business? How do you make everything digital? And now everything is digital across organizations and businesses, all the way from customer service to, finance. The same thing will happen with AI. It started with small point solutions and small tools that are used for individuals, and then they apply it and realize it actually can go towards any process in the right place to sort of embed it. And that's a very similar thing that's sort of happening.
Yeah, wow. So much to unpack, so much to look forward to. Thanks, Amina, for joining us today. I always love hearing you talk and explain things. You explain things so beautifully, and I think get us to see the opportunities of this new technology, and particularly, as you said, as they apply to directors and to leaders. The workshop that we're running with Amina and her colleagues is called Reinvention in the Age of AI. It's a 90-minute workshop to enable you to navigate the rapidly evolving landscape of AI. Very practical, very empowering. You'll understand how to harness the power of AI for strategic advantage, risk oversight, and innovative leadership. Again, all without needing that technical background. So no $100 million sign-on bonuses for us. The workshop, of course, is complimentary if you join Women on Boards in June. So great opportunity there. Once again, thanks to you, Amina. And until I see everybody next time.